What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. Here we are, sitting at about, what is that? $2.39. Good job. Nice. Do you have a little? You had a little bit of a move down. Oh, for some reason I thought you were up higher. Okay, so you moved down a little bit yesterday. Bad job, bad XRP. 2% down. That's okay. $2.39 now. If we take a relative low to a relative high here, you are below your 236. You have gone up and found resistance at it. I think it's very clear that you're on a path downward, right? You definitely are moving downward. I think $2.30 and probably just below there is the next expected area. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you saw some kind of reaction where you wick below it, and you come back up and you move back up to this 236, find resistance there, and then come back down to your golden ratio. Something like that is very normal. Of course, you could just drop through the floor. I don't know if that happens. XRP is kind of more methodical in its movements, but sometimes you do just move right through the floor, right? Let's see, actually, what did you do here relative to this move from a low to a high? You rested at your golden ratio. So you see here, there's a little bit of a forewarning before you drop through the floor. You rested at the golden ratio. If you found support, that's a different story, but you rested at it. So of course you're going to drop down to your 786, 886 area. To be fair, you went a little bit lower, which is a bit abnormal, but sometimes abnormal things happen. Even with this abnormal event, if you bought at the 786 or you bought at the 886 and you just waited, you would have been chilling in no time, right? So looking at this here, I very much would expect that you are on your way to your golden ratio. You are on your way down to about $1.97, $2.03, $1.90, whatever, somewhere around this zone. I'm pretty damn confident XRP does not go below this low, but if it does, it's okay. If it does, it's okay. If it goes below $1.90, it could find support at $1.81. But again, I have a hard time seeing that, and the reason why, just to refresh everybody's minds, is that would call for a rather large dump on XRP's behalf, right? 24% is not that large of a dump in crypto, but when I expect the average crypto to drop about that percentage amount around there, I would think XRP doesn't drop that much. I would think it drops less. If the average crypto drops 24%, XRP might drop 17%. It might drop 18%. It might drop 14%, something like that. But not the same as it's not your average coin. It's a top dog. And top dogs, they don't move up as fast as the rest of the markets. This one did, though, back in November. And it moved up faster, actually. They also don't move down as slow. They oftentimes have better reactions to the downside as well. But everything's going to move up. Everything's going to move down according to Bitcoin, or at least most things will. Caspa's kind of doing its own thing. I just made a video on Caspa. That thing looks like it's going to go up, I think, while the rest of the markets go down. But nothing crazy, at least not to my expectation. I have a theory. I'll share it with the XRP community real quick. I said it on my Caspa video. That was my daughter, if you guys heard that. My theory, and we'll see if it's true, but I wonder if DAG blockchain cryptos are going to have a good time over the coming weeks, because Caspa is like the daddy of the DAGs. It's the daddy DAG, and it's looking good. I wonder if DAG blockchains are going to do well, because there's a couple DAG blockchains I'm looking at, and they've been doing well recently, and so has Caspa. So I just wonder, but not to take away from XRP, it's just a thought. I know that there are people who are very gung ho about XRP. I'm not trying to take any attention away from that. Unlike Caspa, I actually think XRP will see new all-time highs this cycle. I think Caspa's bull cycle's done, but I do mean it whenever I say that. I think that the only one, like the rest of the market's going to move up or down with Bitcoin. The only coin that seems not to be doing that is Caspa right now. But I digress. Let's get back to work here. Okay, so I have a hard time seeing you drop below $1.90. I have a hard time seeing you even dropping down to like $1.78 or anything like this, any of these extensions, because I can't see you dropping down to these extensions. Likely you will find support at some, and it's not just because I see it that way, but because to me it makes sense that you would not see that kind of percentage decay, right? 26%, 30%. I just can't see this primary expected zone being a thing to anticipate. I would more think then the 886, 786, or maybe even some kind of a double bottom would be the scenario that you have. I would expect XRP is rather methodical in this process, right? Again, 382, 236, golden. Whoop, that was a little bit lower. 382, 236, golden ratio. Back up to your 382 or maybe even your 0.5, finding resistance at one of those points, whether you go down there or there, and then continuing down to this area, something like that. It might look exactly like that, and in which case, it might be if it's the 22nd of March right now, it might be another week or so that that it takes to get down to this. Sometime next week, later next week, and maybe even going into the end of the month, that you would find your low. I have a theory as well, pertaining to crypto as a whole, that April 2nd might not be as bearish of a day as people think it is, at least as people who are reading the media articles, the media pieces, as if there's some kind of fact and all-knowing kind of arbiter to the truth of crypto, and it's going to predict the future for them, right? If you're reading media articles to try and get ahead of crypto, just understand you're already behind, right? Media pieces are not the way to get ahead, right? It's good to be informed of what's going on. I pay attention to the media. I just don't let it influence my decisions. I really don't. Like everybody who was behind the guy, they were trying to stop hunt this guy that had the $500 million trade open. He was shorting Bitcoin. It's like everybody got together for that. And what did that do? That made a lot of people go long on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin went down. So, it went up a little bit, to be fair, first, but then it dropped off. And it's probably going to keep going lower. Like stuff like that, it's not there to help you, it's to distract you. Just as an example, $2.38 now. My thing that I got distracted from, that I was trying to talk about, is on April 2nd, Trump is announcing, or he's going to put in place reciprocated tariffs on the whole planet. Like anybody who has a tariff against the United States will have a reciprocated tariff. We're not going to make it personal. It's nothing personal. It's not anything that's going to make it worse for other countries. We're just going to make it fair. It's going to be a tariff event. We're going to have a very tariff event on April 2nd. And my assumption is that it's not going to be as bearish as a lot of people are assuming. And I got all distracted from that. My thought behind that is, while yes, the tariffs that have been placed so far have not really benefited the market. We've seen dumps that have happened beforehand, both times. Even the time whenever they didn't actually happen, we got pushed back a month. We still saw the price move down in anticipation of these tariffs. I think he means business whenever he says April 2nd is going to happen. And from what I've heard from the sources that I've gone through, it seems as though there are some countries, or a handful of countries already, that have called and made agreements to end their tariffs on the United States, because they don't want the smoke, man, on April 2nd. They don't want none, man. And why would they? It's not fair, right? I mean, we're United States having as many tariffs as they do from like the whole damn planet, and basically most of the planet. I shouldn't say the whole planet, but there's a lot of countries that have tariffs on us that we don't have any tariffs, or if we do, they're not even close to the same. All we're doing is reciprocating them. I think that's a good kind of a good means of negotiating just a fair trade of no tariffs for anybody, right? That sounds fair, right? Just because the United States has a booming economy doesn't mean that we should, and it's not necessarily booming right now, but we might start booming. But our dollar, our reserve, our currency is better held than a lot of world currencies, right? We're at a lower risk of hyperinflation. A lot of people think the dollar is going to hyperinflate, man, but we that's a time for another. That's a discussion for another video, but the dollar's not going to hyperinflate. Not while I'm alive, not while you're alive. Maybe in our grandkids' existence, maybe, but too many of the people that like matter in the world, that they don't matter, but the wealthy, the really successful people, countries, too much of their money is tied into the dollar and the reserve. It's not going to hyperinflate. It can't. And here's my proof. Here's my proof to just show you that anytime you hear that the dollar is hyperinflating, or that the dollar is going to go to zero, we're going to be the next Venezuela. Anytime you hear something like that, this is the DXY. It's weighed against like a basket of very significant currencies in the world. The dollar, the DXY, it's not a price of the dollar. It's just an index that shows the valuation versus a couple of key indicators, or like a handful of key currencies in the world economy. We've been in an uptrend. The DXY, the dollar, has been in an uptrend since 2008. We're in a very firm uptrend, you guys, and it's not stopping here, at least not for years to come, right? And I mean, probably even then we're going to say, I mean, if we see a higher high than this, all this dollar going to zero stuff is going to change. But beyond that, beyond this as evidence, think back to COVID. Think back to whenever COVID was going on, and everybody after COVID also, whenever everybody was inflation. Everybody experienced the highest inflation. Even the dollar experienced some of the highest inflation that I've ever seen in my life, at least as far as recorded goes. but it was still, the US dollar still had better rates of inflation than the majority of the world, like 90% of other countries, right? So just to show, it's not going to hyperinflate. It's not going to hyperinflate. And I forgot what led me onto that point to begin with. But here we are. Here we are, just going on a whole different tangent. I said that was a time for another video, and I didn't want to talk about it anyways. But I went through with it, and I completed the thought, and now I'm thoughtless. I do believe that XRP is on its way down. Let's get back to focus here. I do believe that we're on our way down. I think that it's going to be rather methodical as it works its way down. I don't believe we go below this low, and likely it's going to happen before April 2nd. Again, I want to get back to that. I keep straying from that thought. I want to complete that thought, is that I think that there will be more countries that call ahead of time, that make a deal ahead of time to end their tariffs on the United States. I think there will be more. I don't know if all of them will be. I'm assuming that on April 2nd, there will be a lot of countries that have reciprocated tariffs placed on them. But I don't think, I was talking about the economy and stuff, and then I was talking about the dollar and stuff like that. That's probably why. I was like, just because we have a strong dollar or a strong economy doesn't mean strong reserves. That's what I was saying. Yes, I remember now. Doesn't mean that we should have tariffs on us. I think when the rest of the world takes their tariffs off, or at least a good majority of them do, or a significant portion of them do, that news will in turn be a positive effect on the negative notion that Donald Trump is placing tariffs on the rest of the countries in the world that have tariffs, right? Reciprocated tariffs. It's not like it's going to be, we're one-upping. We're just going to match. Any tariff that they place, we're going to place. Any tariff that you raise, we're going to raise, right? That's just how it is. And I think that's fair. I don't know why that's such a problem. I don't know. I'm not being political here. I just think that's fair. Even if this wasn't Donald Trump, if this wasn't the United States, we could be talking about India. I don't know. A random country, Madagascar, Chile in South America. If they announce that they're not going to put extenuated tariffs on other countries, they're just going to reciprocate tariffs on any country that has tariffs on them, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fair, right? Like that makes sense to me. If you're going to tariff me, I'm going to tariff you. Like, that's fair. It's not like you have to go to war. It's just a simple negotiating tactic to just kind of make trade truly fair, I think. And that, once that's received, once that negative news comes out, here's where I like tie it all together in case you're still watching, whoever you are, hit that like button and subscribe if you're still watching. In case, what was I going to say? I was going to say, once that negatively received news or perceived news is enacted on the 2nd, I think it's going to be underplayed, or it's going to be overplayed, right? It's going to be well overplayed. People are going to assume it's more bearish than it actually is, and there's actually going to be some good things that come of it. And once this is all resolved, which I think will be around April 2nd or sometime after April, we're going to see a lot of growth. Now, I shouldn't say after April, after that time frame in April, I think that we're going to see a lot of growth, and the markets are going to bottom out. Even with tariffs being in place, we can still grow. We absolutely can still grow, and we probably will grow. And I'm not worried about that. I'm talking too much about that and not about the TA. But yes, I think we're going down. I think it's going to be methodical. If I had to give you a roadmap of what I truly expect for XRP, if you wanted to play it off of this, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if you did this exact thing. 382, 236, 618 golden ratio zone, 0.5 and down, or the 382 and down, and then you'll hit your 786, 886 zone. This is the area that you'll bounce at, and that'd be somewhere around, I would think, Wednesday to Friday next week, somewhere in that time frame. The way I have it drawn, it could be larger, it could take like a longer amount of time, it could look a little bit messier than this, but more or less support here, resistance there. Support here is at $2.30, resistance at $2.40, then you're going to find support at $2.13 to $2.10, then you're going to find resistance at $2.20 to $2.30, then you're going to go down and find support somewhere around just above $2 or likely just above $1.90. That's my thoughts. Okay, from there, once April starts, you guys, I think that we're actually going to have, instead of a sell the news event, it's going to be a buy the news event, because this is a negatively anticipated move. We're going to have a buy the news event, and I think it's going to really cascade things higher throughout the month of April going into May, and we're going to see those $10 plus targets, those $13 plus targets. You might make your way all the way up to $15 by the end of this next move. I don't know how many people are calling for it. I know that I might sound crazy, right? I really might sound crazy to some people, but time will tell. And whenever XRP is, and make no mistake, I'm absolutely of the utmost confident that this next move, by the end of May, you will be above $10, if not even around $15 at the highest, right? If and when you are up here, maybe it's not by the end of May, maybe it's early June and I'm off by a week. Oh no, whatever. When you're up here, I'm not going to be like, ha ha, I told you so, right? I'm like, the crazy guy was right all along. No, because I'm not. I don't think it's crazy at all. I think that people are crazy for not being more bullish on this thing. We're looking at a thing. We're looking at a, like, seriously. There's just hear the logic here, right? We're looking at a crypto that's been incorporated into the United States Crypto Reserve. Garlinghouse and Trump, they might not be the tightest, but he's in his ear about this stuff, right? And XRP is a reputable crypto. SEC case just got dropped. You are about to see new all-time highs and break out after consolidating here for multiple years while the SEC case got dropped, while you're in the crypto reserve, while Garlinghouse is buddy with the president, kind of, right? And we're in the most crypto-friendly position from an administrative standpoint that we've ever been as far as geopolitical senses go. You're crazy for not being as bullish as I am on this thing, man. Genuinely, $10 to $15, $11 to $15. I think that's where you're going to be. And it's going to take place in the next couple of months here, 2.5 months or so. I got nothing else for you guys. I'm going to go to bed. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. By the way, you're bouncing off the damn 50. Your weekly RSI is immaculate, bro. It looks perfect. It looks really good. I got nothing else to say. Bye-bye.